Step back in time with me to the 1800s as we explore the bustling, chaotic, and revolutionary city of Liverpool. Forget everything you know about the modern city, because we're about to walk the same cobblestone streets that Dickens walked, sail the same waters that carried millions, and witness the birth of a global powerhouse. Imagine the air, thick with the smell of coal smoke, salty sea spray, and exotic spices from faraway lands. The sounds are a symphony of industry, the clatter of horse-drawn carriages, the rumble of steam engines, the shouts of dock workers, and the clang of ship bells echoing across the Mersey. This isn't just a city. It's the beating heart of the British Empire, a gateway to the world. Our journey begins at the docks. In the early 1800s, Liverpool's original Old Dock was already struggling to keep up with the sheer volume of trade. But the real game-changer was the Albert Dock, which opened in 1846. This wasn't just a place to moor ships. It was a marvel of Victorian engineering. Designed by Jesse Hartley, it was the first structure in Britain to be built from cast iron, brick, and stone, with no structural wood. This made it fireproof, a huge deal when you're dealing with flammable cargo like cotton, tobacco, and rum. Picture massive warehouses, 5 stories high, surrounding the water. Hydraulic cranes, another revolutionary invention, are effortlessly lifting heavy loads from the ship's holds. These warehouses weren't just for storage. They were fortresses of commerce, protecting valuable goods from theft and the elements. Standing here, you can almost see the merchants in their top hats, anxiously overseeing the unloading of cotton from America, which would soon be on its way to the mills of Lancashire, fueling the Industrial Revolution. This constant flow of goods made Liverpool one of the wealthiest cities on the planet. But the docks tell another, more somber story. For much of the 19th century, Liverpool was a major hub for emigration. Millions of people, particularly from Ireland during the Great Famine of the 1840s, passed through this city. They arrived desperate, seeking passage to America, Canada, or Australia in what were often called coffin ships due to the appalling conditions. The streets around the docks would have been crowded with families carrying their few worldly possessions, their faces a mixture of hope and fear, all searching for a new life across the sea. It's a poignant reminder that Liverpool was not just a city of wealth, but also a city of farewells. Now let's move away from the waterfront and head into the city center. The grand architecture you see isn't just for show. It's a statement. As Liverpool's wealth grew, the city's leaders wanted to create a landscape that reflected their status. Take St. George's Hall, for example. Opened in 1854, this colossal neoclassical building was designed to be a concert hall and a court, a temple of art and justice. Its lavish interiors, with mint tile floors and a massive barrel-vaulted ceiling, were meant to impress and inspire awe in anyone who entered. Queen Victoria herself called it worthy of ancient Rome. For the people of Liverpool, it was a symbol of their city's cultural and civic pride. Nearby, we find William Brown Street, often called the Cultural Quarter. Here, you'd find the World Museum and the Walker Art Gallery, both established in the 19th century. These institutions were funded by the city's wealthy philanthropists, men who made their fortunes in trade and wanted to give back to the city. They believed in providing education and culture for the working classes. So, while a dock worker might spend his days unloading ships, he could spend his evening looking at exotic artifacts from around the world or admiring masterpieces of art. This was a radical idea at the time, the democratization of culture. But let's not get carried away by the grandeur. For every magnificent hall, there were 100 dark, narrow alleyways. Let us venture into the court housing that was home to a massive portion of Liverpool's population. These were cramped, unsanitary tenements built in the backyards of larger houses. A single courtyard might have several families sharing one water pump and a few outdoor toilets. Diseases like cholera and typhoid were rampant. It was a harsh, brutal existence, a stark contrast to the opulence just a few streets away. Charles Dickens, who visited Liverpool many times, was horrified by these conditions and used them as inspiration for his writing, exposing the dark underbelly of Victorian prosperity. Life was tough, but the people of Liverpool were tougher. Pubs and music halls were the lifeblood of the community. Here, people from all walks of life could escape the grime and hardship for a few hours. You'd hear sea shanties, Irish folk songs, and the latest music hall tunes, all washed down with cheap ale. It was in these crowded, noisy spaces that the famous Scouse wit and resilience were forged. It was a way of finding joy and solidarity in the face of adversity. Let's talk about another revolutionary development: transport. In 1830, the world's first intercity passenger railway, the Liverpool and Manchester Railway, opened. This was an earth-shattering event. For the first time in human history, people could travel faster than a horse could run. Imagine the scene at the Grand Crown Street station on opening day. Stephenson's rocket, puffing steam and smoke, ready to embark on its journey. It cut travel time between the two cities from a whole day by canal to just a couple of hours. This railway didn't just move people. It moved goods, information, and ideas at an unprecedented speed, accelerating the pace of the Industrial Revolution and cementing Liverpool's position as a critical transport hub. And if you thought that was impressive, look up. In 1893, Liverpool opened the Overhead Railway, the world's first electric elevated railway. Nicknamed the Dockers' Umbrella, it ran for over 6 miles along the line of the docks. For a penny you could travel from one end of the port to the other, getting a spectacular bird's-eye view of the ships and the sea. It was a tourist attraction in its own right, offering a futuristic glimpse into the 20th century. It symbolized Liverpool's constant drive for innovation. As the century drew to a close, Liverpool was a city of incredible contrasts. It was a place of immense wealth and grinding poverty, of groundbreaking innovation and heart-wrenching human struggle. It was the gateway to the empire, a melting pot of cultures from across the globe, and a city that looked fearlessly to the future. The buildings, the streets, and the very spirit of the city were shaped by the titanic forces of the 19th century. Walking through Liverpool today, you can still feel the echoes of this incredible era. You see it in the majestic columns of St. George's Hall, in the ironwork of the Albert Dock, and in the proud, resilient spirit of its people. The 1800s were Liverpool's crucible, the century that forged its identity and set it on a course to become the city we know and love. So next time you visit, take a moment to look beyond the modern shops and cafes. Listen closely, and you might just hear the faint clatter of hooves on cobblestones, the distant cry of a ship's horn, and the vibrant, chaotic pulse of a city at the very center of the world. Thank you for joining me on this tour through 19th century Liverpool. It's a city with a story on every corner, and we've only just scratched the surface. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, please hit the like button, subscribe for more historical explorations, and let me know in the comments which city you like to visit next. Thanks for watching.